Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good morning. I'm not really centered, but hey, happy Friday. Friday. Welcome.
Roberta.
All of my Roberters. And yes, Scott, all of the
Creep Town, dude.
residents. So we have Roberters and we got creepies.
Creepy.
I hope you guys are doing good. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me this morning. I always look forward to my mornings with you guys, like big time. And I hate to see that anybody is feeling sick. So anybody who's feeling sick or is not doing well, I hope that you feel better soon. Oh, nice, Judy Jovi. Love Greta Van Fleet. That's awesome. We're going to be talking about some cases that are going on up in Michigan. Hello, Maple Leaf and Sculpster and Diggs. Tracy S., what is up? Potato. Heather looking ass. Carolyn Miller says CBI put an Amber Alert out for a 13-year-old out of Loudoun County. Have you guys ever had a little bit of hot cocoa in your coffee? There's Maligator. I got a wrench Maligator. Hold on. I was waiting for her to come back in. I had to go through my freaking YouTube because I had like moderator names that I didn't know. People change their names and I don't know. So I'm like, what do I do? I had someone in there called TikTok Queen or some shit like that. And I was like, who the fuck is that? We've got to verify all of our moderators every now and then. All right, here we go. And you are back in your blue dress. Oh my God, you look so wonderful.
Oh, man.
Roberta.
The biggest Roberters are blue in chat, FYI. Hey, Rose. Yeah, she doesn't know.
I don't know. He doesn't know. He does not know.
Tracy says, I want to change my name, but I'm unimaginative. No, you're not. You're not unimaginative. I'll come up with, or have Heather come up with one for you, because she's the bratty looking ass. She is always beautiful. Bootyful. But I hope everybody who is not feeling well is on the mend, or I hope you feel better soon, because there's a lot of people that are sick. And it's lingering. How about just, I don't know, Tracy. We'll have to,
Do you like to twirl?
think about it.
You know, the proof is in the pudding, if you will.
You still have a horrible cough. Digger's going to change her name and be like, knock, knock. Well, I went in there and it said TikTok vids. It was something like that, and I was like, who is that? I still don't know. No, not really, Julia Fleming. No, not really. Every now and then. All right, so let's get into our first video, shall we? So the first video is going to be, we're going to start out with a little action.
These nuts.
Yeah, not on purpose, Scott Skulls. My voice is coming back, though. Hey, Turtle Girl. Toitzel. Hey, Happy Girl. Yeah, whatever people are getting right now is really kicking their asses, so Here we go. We're going to start out with a little action. Give me some action.
she liked to twirl.
All the jaw-dropping action caught on multiple dash cam videos. It included at least 3 pit maneuvers, multiple suspects, and a stolen police car.
The Southfield Police Chief releasing the compelling dash cam video and body cam footage and information about the arrest.
7 Action News reporter Brett Cass breaks down the video, revisiting the neighborhood where it happened.
Well, this chase happened Saturday, but the tire marks in the grass are still here after Southfield police took out their own car to end the chase. It took multiple officers holding down and tasing 27-year-old Charleston Williams to finally get the handcuffs on. This wild arrest, the result of a massive chase that started nearly 3 miles away at the Franklin River Apartments.
Law enforcement agencies across southeast Michigan, we're all experiencing the same issue. Individuals stealing cars, auto parts.
Southfield Police Chief Elvin Barron says the department has been monitoring hotels and apartment buildings where he says thieves have easy access to cars. It was here at Franklin River where police on duty tried to stop a car theft in progress. Nearly 2 miles away, police caught up to the car, disabling it with a pit maneuver, getting out to make an arrest. But the officer didn't know how many people were in the car. As he goes after the suspect getting out the passenger door, Williams opens the driver's side door and gets in the police car. From there, a fight for the wheel, the officer smashing the window to grab Williams. The struggle continues for 30 seconds until Williams takes off.
Arresting these suspects is not easy. They're very aggressive, and they have no regard for community safety or officer safety.
This dash cam video from the patrol car shows Williams at the wheel, driving erratically. He makes it roughly 1 mile until another officer coming towards him manages another pit maneuver. At this point, the chase is finally over, but the struggle still continues. As police point out, Williams has access to a police rifle in the front seat. However, besides injuries from the airbag, police say Williams wasn't seriously hurt. He's now in jail, facing 9 felonies.
It's not easy. Because time and time again, these individuals want to resist the police, want to fight with us. Where does it end?
Williams is currently in jail on a $1 million bond. He, along with 3 police officers, were taken to the hospital to be treated and then were released. In Southfield, I'm Brett Cass, 7 Action News.
Yikes, Ashley. Crazy shit goes on up in Detroit, though. We all know this. All right, I've got everyone situated, I think, now. Everyone should have their blue dresses. Everybody should be all dressed and prim and proper and Roberta-ish, you know, all that good stuff.
Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
Moderators! Mount up.
Mount up.
Mount up, mofos. Thanks for being here, and thanks for carrying that wrench, and thanks for your dedication to being here. I don't ever want anyone to think that I don't appreciate the time that you give to the podcast, whatever that time may be. I just want everybody to know that whatever time it is that you come in here and listen, moderate, whatever it is, I do appreciate it. Even if I don't always act like it. But I do appreciate it. Best mods ever. I mean, hands down. Hands down. Level says I'm just here for the music.
Dance it out. Shut up, Sharon. Shut up, Sharon. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up, Sharon.
Oh, look at all the hearts in chat. See, I love you guys. Heather looking ass. Diggs, I love you too, and I'm just glad that everybody is still here. Makes me just want to just cry like a
Roberta.
Cheryl, I hope you're feeling better too. Ashley Oakes, you make my days brighter. You guys all do.
Verizon is going ultra, and so
now that we're all sappy, we're gonna watch a story that's gonna make you mad. We're gonna like go from sappy and hearts to pissed off Oh, alligator. Don't you guys cry. No more. I know. It's just been a whirlwind. Life can be a whirlwind sometimes. But we're all here. Hey, under your scars. Janelle. Aw. Okay, so here's a story that's going to piss you off. It's going to piss me off because it's all ads, but here we go.
A Grand Rapids man charged with felony murder and child abuse in the death of his girlfriend's 1-year-old son will remain in jail.
23-year-old Alex Rodolovich was arraigned in Kent County courtroom this morning where the judge denied bond.
13 on your side's Carla Byron has heard some new disturbing allegations about Alexander Butler's death.
And she is here with the latest. Carla.
Court records detail how Rodolovich confessed to a detective. He became upset and slammed Butler down on the floor multiple times. An autopsy shows Butler died from head trauma.
Disgusting. Do you understand your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand the penalties?
Yes, ma'am.
23-year-old Alex Rodolovich made his first court appearance Tuesday morning and maintained his innocence. He's charged with felony murder and child abuse in the first degree, both punishable by up to life in prison.
Court should be aware that he is requesting some counseling and treatment for mental health disorders that he's currently suffering. We would ask that to be considered as part of his bond.
But the judge denied bond. Court documents show on Saturday morning, Rodolovich was in the living room with his girlfriend's son, 1-year-old Alexander Butler. Rodolovich told police he got upset, picked the boy up while kneeling, and slammed him onto the floor 2 or 3 times. Kent County prosecutor Chris Becker explained the charges are quite rare. However, the perpetrators in these cases often tend to be close to the victim.
And generally, unfortunately, it's, these types of cases are someone that's close to the child, a caregiver, or a guardian, a family member. We don't see these types of charges. In fact, we can't even charge it a child abuse when it is a stranger.
Court documents also state Rodolovich made multiple conflicting statements, but eventually stated, "I got upset and accidentally did the wrong thing."
And do you
he claims he was frustrated with Butler's fussiness and crying and not having anyone around to help him. And Rodolovich will be back in court the end of this month. He is innocent until proven guilty.
What's the lesson here? Don't leave your kids with your boyfriend, girls. They don't love your kids like you do. Especially if they're not if they're not the daddy, you got to be careful. So here's the 911 call of this dude calling for help after he hurt this 1-year-old child.
February 5, 2022.
There's no video, it's just audio.
0906 and 30 seconds.
911 emergency.
Hi, my son's not breathing right now. I don't know what's going on with him. His lips are pale. He's 1.5 years old.
What's the address?
Some of it's redacted. Hey, Damien.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, you said your 1-year-old son is not breathing?
Yes, he's not breathing. I don't know what's going on. His lips are pale. His skin's white. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Alright,
I just slammed him on the floor. I don't know what's wrong.
Dude, I don't know. You guys got to hurry, please.
Yep, we're getting help over there. Just stay on the line with me. What's your name and phone number just in case we get disconnected?
My name is Alex Rodolovich. I don't have a phone number right now because my service is out.
Alright, stay on the line with me. I'll connect us with the ambulance too. Stay on the line.
Thank you. Grab him.
Medical dispatch.
This is Grand Rapids. This is pre-alert. Just 1 second, sir. Stop.
Okay.
Pre-alert for a 1-year-old not breathing. Changing color.
Okay.
No, he does not sound hysterical.
Okay. Caller, tell me exactly what happened.
I don't know. He's just not breathing. He's lifeless. He's lit. Like my friend's holding him right now, and he's not responding or any movements at all. He's like lifeless.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 1.5. He'll be 1.5 in March.
How much does he weigh?
Approximately like 21 pounds, I think.
Okay, and just to confirm, is he awake? Is he awake? Hello?
No, there's no movement at all.
Okay, is he breathing?
It doesn't matter if he's breathing or not. This kid is not awake. Like, there's no movement in this kid at all. You're asking me if he's
Med 1 Echo.
All right. I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line. The ambulance is on its way. They're already dispatched.
All right, thank you.
All right, if there's an AED available, send someone to get it now in case we need it later. Do you have an AED there?
What does he mean? Why does it matter if the baby's breathing? It matters because she was going to tell him how to administer CPR. Wow.
Do you have an AED there? Hello? Hello? I think he hung up on me. It's a 1-year-old. Hello?
Alex, are you still with us?
I think he hung up.
Well, you said he didn't have a working phone number, but the phone number...
It's kind of a weird situation here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a...
Alrighty. Thank you. I'll try giving him a call back.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Ms., that I thought the same thing. He's just worried about his own ass in that situation. Very sad. So he's been, I think he's been arraigned. He's been arraigned. Let's see. Yeah, he was charged on felony murder, 1 count, and 1 count of child abuse in the 1st degree. And this is on the west side of Michigan. So Sharon Bird said he was so calm after killing that poor baby. R.I.P. little baby. He was sick. Don't leave your children, your babies alone with these men. All right, next story we're going to move into is out of Detroit. And this is about, hanging up. And Maligator, if you have a fever now, you need to go back and be seen. You have been sick for way too long, Missy.
Roberta.
So,
JB, it's, we have to stand down.
You're burning the candle at both ends. You need NyQuil, a doctor's appointment, and sleep. I think. Not necessarily in that order. This next story is going to be out of Detroit. This is an assistant principal that we're going to be hearing about. Trigger warning. Yeah, they never said where the mother was, so we're going to have to wait and see what goes on in court with that one.
This investigation are tough to stomach. Melvin Conway, an assistant principal here at Ecorse High School, arrested accused of criminal sexual conduct. The accuser, the alleged victim, is a relative and just 10 years old when it happened.
State of Michigan versus Melvin Conway.
45-year-old Melvin Conway, a father and assistant principal, charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Given bond with tether Monday, he can bond out for $7,500.
It's quite alarming, to say the least.
Detroit police and the Wayne County Sheriff's Office investigating allegations of rape by a relative of Conway who was living with him in Detroit at the time of the alleged incident about 8 years ago. The accuser just 10 years old at the time.
Everything is still very, very fresh, but it's quite disturbing.
Captain Kimberly Blackwell with the Detroit Police Special Victims Unit says the victim told several people about the sexual assault years after it happened.
A lot of times victims are embarrassed or they feel that they are responsible, it's their fault.
The investigation into Conway started about a year ago. We're told he's been cooperative with police.
We don't want to rush them, but we also don't want to cause the victim any more suffering. So it's a process, unfortunately.
Conway has prior charges out of Georgia, but a spokesperson with Ecorse Schools tells Fox 2 he was given a background check before being hired. He's since been suspended with pay. The schools say they're cooperating with police, adding the safety of students and staff are top priority. As we said, Conway does have a criminal past, 2 misdemeanor charges from back in 2007 when he lived in Georgia. He pled guilty to both time for that. Imprisonment and battery, all stemming from a domestic incident. Reporting in E-Course, Jessica Dupnak, Fox 2 News.
Can you say slipped through the cracks? Yeah, suspended with pay. Suspended with pay. Like, stop. Stop it. Just stop. Messed up. He got out on $7,500 bond. $7,500 bond. Crazy. Craziness. But what is with these officials? It's so disturbing. Okay, so here is, let's see, which one do I want to do next? We'll do this one real quick. This is another story out of Detroit.
Shocking video making the rounds on the internet showing a group of teenage girls smoking meth in a school restroom. That video was recorded yesterday at Lincoln Park High School.
And as Fox News' Jessica Dupnak tells us, those students are not only facing expulsion, but criminal charges as well.
This is the shocking video gone viral. Teen girls in a bathroom stall at Lincoln Park High School smoking meth. We've blurred their faces, but in the original, you can see them smiling, then lighting a glass pipe and passing it to another girl who's bringing it to her mouth.
What's really sad is the drugs that they're using are deadly. They're being laced with fentanyl.
That's Linda Davis. She's the executive director of Families Against Narcotics, a recovery resource group with chapters all over Michigan.
It's shocking from the standpoint of the way I was raised. These drugs would have been considered horribly dangerous, and we would have been afraid of them, but we've desensitized kids.
Lincoln Park Schools released a detailed statement Friday saying that all of the girls appeared to be under the influence of drugs after the incident Thursday and were taken to the hospital as a precaution. It's possible they face disciplinary action from the schools and possible charges now that Lincoln Park police are involved.
Every story ends the same. These kind of drugs either end up with you being in jail, or you end up dead, or you seek recovery, which is what we hope that these young girls will do.
Linda Davis, who is a former Macomb County judge, says their group, Families Against Narcotics, offers recovery options outside of criminal charges.
I don't think we're taking enough action as a nation on really putting all we've got into this. I think we're going to see the ages continue to get younger and younger.
Lincoln Park Schools urging parents to stress to their kids the dangers of drug use.
And what today might be fun and just a feeling good feeling and being used just for that purpose will turn into something that's totally unmanageable.
In Lincoln Park, Jessica Dupnak, Fox 2 News.
Meth. I mean, when we were in high school, I was like smoking cigarettes in the bathroom. Meth. It's very scary. Hey, Shuby Mom. Hey, Cher. We already played your song. You missed it. You got a bra ad and it was a dude with a bra on trying to clasp it and he had hairy chest? Dude, what have you been searching that comes up? Hey, Georgie RG. From Sydney, Australia. Yeah, I mean, smoking cigarettes. These girls are smoking meth. What is going on in this world? Yeah, I mean, you were daring if you smoked pot in the bathroom. No, it's Lincoln Park High School in Michigan. Heather says, I was well behaved and surprisingly shy in high school.
Roberta.
All right, here is our next story. Michigan is joining a nationwide investigation of the social media platform TikTok. Have you heard about this?
Everything from pranks to pets. It's TikTok and it's taken over kids and teen screens.
I think it tends to make people feel bad rather than good.
Almost every child, clinical psychologist Eric Herman sees, time spent on social media, it's a problem.
I have kids that rather stay home than go out. Rather be online than go play.
He's weighing in on a new investigation into TikTok to see whether or not the company violated state consumer protection laws when it comes to targeting kids and teens to keep them on TikTok longer. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel joining other attorney generals in this bipartisan investigation that will look into the psychological harm using TikTok may cause and what TikTok knew about those harms.
I'm glad that lawmakers and people are caring, but it starts at home. I think that's the main thing.
Herman says TikTok and similar apps can destroy self-esteem when overused.
It doesn't build social skills, and the kids don't know what to say to each other face to face. They only know what to say online.
TikTok said in a statement it limits features by age, provides tools and resources to parents, and designs its policies with the well-being of young people in mind. The new nationwide investigation will look at TikTok's techniques to keep young people scrolling forever.
If the biggest punishment in your house is I'm going to take your phone away, and kids melt down and cry, and it's like the worst thing that could ever happen to them, it tells you a lot.
This psychologist recommends setting limits for your kids' screen time, especially during mealtime and before bed. Jessica Dupnack, Fox.
See, the thing is, I don't think that's even possible anymore because we're going completely digital. How can we, our kids are a freaking of a digital age. I just feel like we're at this turning point where we really can't take away these things because it's part of their society and their world now. We're not really operating on paper anymore. We don't have landline phones to just pick up. I mean, how can you take the phone away nowadays? I could back when Blackberries first came out. In the mid-2000s, when my kids first had a BlackBerry, and there wasn't a whole lot of you could do on there. But now it's like our lives are on there. Our banking. Oh, thanks, Dad Set. I love you too. Look at Dad Set. Member for 7 months. This is a
Roberta,
and
the proof is in the pudding, if you will.
I love you too. Thanks for being here this morning. Right, they don't even teach cursive anymore. And they're not going to go backwards at this point. We're just going to keep going forward. And our kids probably will never, in the generations to come, even have to learn about cursive. Right? Electronic signatures are going to be where it's at. It's just crazy to think about. Did they really, Digger? Completely, they don't even teach it anymore. Sad, ain't it? Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to get rid of I hate it. I hate TikTok. I hate Facebook. I really do. I think it's all too consuming. I think it's all too fake. And I don't like it. As a matter of fact, I got rid of my Facebook. I cut Messenger, but I got rid of Facebook. Still have my groups and everything, but it's just, it gets to be just overwhelming sometimes. And with our kids, I feel bad because they are inundated. They're living in a different world than we were. They're constantly in contact with one another. I mean, I remember the day when, if you weren't home, your friend left a message on your answer machine or with your parents or whoever. And then when you got home, that's when you called them back to see what they wanted. These kids are constantly in contact with one another, and they feel like they have to reply. They feel like they're obligated to reply. And you're not obligated to reply. I mean, at least I don't feel obligated to reply immediately. Because everyone is doing stuff. I mean, think about back in the day. We weren't expected to set everything down and reply. It's just such a different world. I had a pager too. I thought that was the shit. It was green, clear and green. But I just think it's very difficult for parents, like Chris Cross said, I track him when he's not home. You need them to have that phone. So we're in an age where it's not really all that plausible to take away electronics. I think if you teach your kids to have, like, you get them involved in things outside of home or whatever it is, if they have interests, even if it's hobbies, going fishing, riding your bike, whatever, skateboarding. You just have to encourage that. I don't think that you necessarily have to take away the phones. I think you have to encourage, like, an even keel if you can. I mean, I think that's all you can do. You have to just embrace it and do your best moving forward, even though it wasn't how we grew up, But I just always hear people say, take away the, punish with the electronics. It's like, how do you even do that now? I mean, even from when my kids were little, it's so different. And I really feel for the ones that have young ones growing up right now, especially with COVID and lockdowns and war. And there's a lot going on, and it's been a good couple years now. So it's hard. Dad says, I had to do it this morning. I got no problem doing it.
Do you like to twirl?
It is hard, and I feel for you guys. It's, like I said, in 10 years, it's even different. You just got to take the time, I guess, like healthy boundaries and just teach them to have boundaries with everything. But it's hard. Because it is addicting. Well, Maligator, you run a tight ship. You're like this. Wait, hold on. Wrong one. Where is it? This one.
My detectives are the best, and we will come after you and track you down.
Tight ship there in the Maligator house. My kids' phones are straight talk. We don't pay for their minutes if they don't do their chores. But do they need minutes for, like, apps? That's the thing. It's just Wi-Fi, right? I asked my dad if I like to twirl his arm off. He said, no, you chase kitties around the neighborhood, though. You chase kitties. Hold up.
I hold my hand so I can twirl, and I'd hold my arm, and she just sit there and twirl till my arm just about give out.
Just about give out. Hey, Ad Rock, how you doing today? Kim Maple Leaf says, everyone compliments me because my kids go outside and do things without their phones. Yeah, it's just a different world, and it's changing very, very fast. Digger, she's like,
Are you kidding me? Come on, girl.
All right, you guys ready for the next story? So and I don't know why they're targeting TikTok. I mean, aren't all social media apps pretty much all addictive in the same fashion? Just that younger people are more, they're not really into Facebook like us older folk. All right, so we're going to take this back to 1982, and we're going to talk about a cold case from 1982 in Michigan that was solved. Pretty cool stuff.
New at noon, Council Bluffs police say they solved a cold case murder dating back to 1982. According to a news release, this woman, Lee Ratori, was found stabbed to death at a hotel after starting a new job at Jenny Edmondson Hospital. Police didn't identify any suspects at the time. In 2001, forensic technology revealed the presence of a male DNA profile, but they were not able to identify a match. In 2019, investigators sent the DNA to a lab to begin a genetic genealogy case. And earlier this month, researchers were able to narrow down the source of the suspect DNA. They believe it was this man, Thomas O. Freeman. Police say Freeman was also murdered in 1982. He was shot multiple times and found in a shallow grave in Illinois. Council Bluffs police are working with the Illinois State Police Department to find out if Freeman's murder was somehow linked to his involvement in Rodolevich's death.
Crazy. This genealogy is solving cold cases left and right. Some 40 plus years old. I think that's just astounding. And he was murdered too, so I'm curious what happened. Who put his ass in a shallow grave after he killed her?
Don't break my door, you fucking bitch. Right?
It is very incredible. And it's really good to see these departments with these cold case detectives. Where in Illinois? It said Council Bluffs. And she was a Michigan woman. It was in Council Bluffs, Illinois. Don't tell me that's where you live, Heather looking ass. All right, this one I believe is out of Roseville, Michigan, which is in Metro Detroit. And a bouncer was shot while removing a suspect from a local bar.
We're now taking you to a solemn gathering tonight outside Dooley's Tavern in Roseville. Last night, a bouncer at the bar was shot and killed, allegedly while removing someone from inside. And the man he was kicking out suddenly pulled out a gun and just began shooting. That is what we're learning. The bouncer was killed and a second victim was also shot, but we're told will recover. Sadly, this is not the first time an incident like this has occurred there. Fox 2's Veronica Meadows.
Wow, really? This has happened before?
He was everybody's friend. He was everybody's motivator, everybody's advice giver, everybody's mentor.
Corey Whitfield is at a loss as he remembers his good friend Julius, who was shot dead late Saturday night.
It's just wild to see that somebody with such a kind soul that was just doing his job would be taken away like this. It doesn't make any sense.
Friends say Julius was on the job working as a bouncer at this Dooley's Tavern in Roseville on Gratiot near East 14 Mile Road. That's when Roseville police say a 25-year-old Farmington Hills man fought with employees and pulled out a gun as he was being removed from the bar. Whitfield, who was DJing at the time, then heard gunshots ring out.
Not to see Julius fall, and it didn't hit me what really happened until they pulled him away, and they said he had a faint pulse, and I was hoping that he was going to make it.
Police say the suspect shot Julius several times. A second person was struck but not seriously hurt. Now for Whitfield, the trauma and grief are still setting in.
I've never experienced anything like this in my life before, to see somebody get gunned down right in front of me, especially somebody that I know that I love.
Even more unsettling, this is the second deadly shooting at this Dooley's location in 2 years. One mom who didn't want to be identified has a son who's also a bouncer at the bar. The mom says after losing Julius, the employees will never be the same.
If you are sad, he'd make you smile. Always wanted to put a smile on someone's face. Just there for everybody, all his friends, everybody. Had a family, 4 kids, just bought a house. Wasn't even supposed to be here last night. And now he's gone.
Police arrested the suspect. He'll be charged this week. In Roseville, Veronica Meadows, Fox 2 News.
So that bar is done. Donezo. I didn't know there had been shootings there before. Jesus, I used to work right across the street from there. I was working on between 14 and 15. Jesus. Here's the follow-up. Let's watch this real quick.
Dooley's Tavern in Roseville is now permanently closed tonight after a shooting left one man dead and another woman injured. 7 Action News reporter Brett Cast is at Dooley's with what led up to the closure and the community's reaction to it.
Roseville police say they did not force the bar to shut down, but the owner did so on his own, and it happened just after an online petition was gaining hundreds of signatures calling for it to happen. Tonight, flowers lay outside the now locked doors of Dooley's Tavern in Roseville after a deadly shooting on Saturday night took the life of 36-year-old bouncer Julius Bing.
That's so sad.
Police say Bing was trying to remove a customer from the bar when the customer pulled out a gun and shot him.
I just really want him to come back to me because I love that man so much.
Bing's fiancée and mother of his 2 children was at Dooley's Sunday night for a vigil remembering his life. Bing was well known by customers, having worked security at the bar for years. And in the midst of the sadness also came a call for action.
There was always problems, there was always fights, there was always stuff going on.
Scott Donnelly of Roseville says he was a customer at Dooley's for years, but stopped going after a number of fights. And after one of his friends, 36-year-old Johnny Ozarski, was also shot and killed inside Dooley's back in 2019.
I was just like, something's got to be done because, you know, after the first one happened, it's like you would have thought maybe somebody would have done something different.
So on Sunday, Donnelly launched an online petition calling for Dooley's to be shut down. In less than 24 hours, it had more than 2,000 signatures, and the bar's owner announced it would be permanently closed.
I was astonished. I was like, that's crazy. Like, I didn't think any of this was really going to go that far.
In a press release, Roseville police added, quote, "The management of Dooley's Tavern have been very cooperative during this investigation and pledge their continued cooperation. Their decision to close has not been facilitated by any action of the Roseville Police Department or the city of Roseville. The ownership believes this was the appropriate thing to do considering recent events." Now, the 25-year-old suspect from Farmington Hills is expected to be arraigned on either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll be sure to update you.
I don't know how they wouldn't be able to stay in business. It's really sad. I mean, this is a man with children and a fiance. It's sad. All right, what story next? Geez. All right, we'll do this one. Okay, so this one says, and I haven't watched this one yet, but the title says, "Small Town Man Plays Big Time Role in Kidnapping Plot." I don't know what this is, so I'm going to be seeing it with you guys.
This is a special presentation from Wood TV 8.
This might be
plot
political.
to kidnap Governor Whitmer and overthrow the governor.
Hold on. Okay, so this is about the federal investigation into the militia that plotted to kill the Michigan governor during COVID. That's what this is about.
So he was trying to help.
Yes, he was trying to help.
So he wasn't trying to kidnap the governor.
Thanks for joining us tonight on a special edition of The 7. I'm Michelle DeSelms. Is one of the most important domestic terrorism investigations in a generation and a major test for the Biden administration, the alleged plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. As the federal trial in Grand Rapids approaches for militia members accused in the plot, the focus continues to turn toward those who worked secretly to catch them.
Weird.
Among
Wait a
them,
minute.
an informant.
Who's this guy? He looks like he's a computer-generated person. I was going to show you guys the other day and I couldn't find it, but there was there's now virtual newscasters and they look real. You wouldn't even know the difference. The voices don't sound like robots. They sound like regular people. They don't move like robots. You would not even know. It's so weird.
Wisconsin, later accused of working both sides.
Wisconsin,
so who is this man
don't you
described
know?
by the feds as a double agent? Targeted investigator Ken Kolker dug through hundreds of pages of court records and traveled to the Badger State to find out. Ken?
Confidential human source Steve worked for the FBI as an informant for months, helping agents get inside the alleged kidnapping plot that led to federal charges against 6 men. Federal prosecutors won't call Steve as a witness, but attorneys for the 4 remaining defendants say they will, hoping he will help prove their innocence. It's an unusually sunny winter day in Oxford, Wisconsin, a town of 607 people, 2 breakfast joints, a Dollar General, not a single traffic light, and 5 bars. That's 1 bar for every 121.4 people.
It's just a little small community.
She liked to twirl.
Very tight-knit community.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
We support each other.
Oxford is on the edge of Amish country, in the middle of Packers country, about an hour north of Madison, in a rural county that went heavily for President Trump in 2020. The town's small lake is frozen thick enough for pickups and small campers.
There we go. Look at that. That's worth waiting for.
It's also home to 58-year-old Stephen Robeson, confidential human source Steve, who played a pivotal role in the investigation.
An early morning house fire destroys this home behind me in Oxford.
That's his house there, the one that caught fire back in November. Firefighters say it was caused by an overloaded extension cord. A nephew woke family members.
The couch was on fire, and so we went running out and got everybody out of the house, and it just went up in flames.
The house has not been fixed, but Robeson lives there anyway, says his sister, who stays with him.
He's a great guy. He's a great father. Like, he takes care of all his kids.
Until recently, Robeson made his living top-coating parking lots in the summer and plowing them in the winter. But he also has a history of violence and fraud in 9 states.
You see a man that has felonies on his records. You see a man that's been in trouble in and out of his life. So, and he trying to do something good for a change.
She says by working for the government.
If he was such a double agent, why aren't the feds charging him the same way they're charging them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't.
So he was trying to help.
Yes, he was trying to help.
So he wasn't trying to kidnap the governor?
Well, nothing to do with no Michigan governor. Like, we're in Wisconsin. The feds are lying on him. The newspaper's lying on him. He deserves to say his side of the story. You're the first person that's came here that wanted his side. Nobody cares about what he has to say. They only care about what the feds have to say.
But she says her brother isn't home to give his side.
I'm going to call him right now and let him know that you showed up.
The true identity of confidential human source Steve has been public for months and has been released in federal court. The story of his role in this case is told in this stack of court documents, more than 1,000 pages, filed by the U.S. Attorney's Office and defense attorneys. Each side, of course, draws a different conclusion. Defense attorneys say that he was among 12 informants who worked this case. They say he started in October 2019, a full 8 months before the alleged kidnapping plot
hasn't come home,
was
Ashley.
hatched. For a year's work, the FBI paid him $19,328.79. But this wasn't his first gig as an informant. He was 22, already in trouble with the law back in 1985, when he testified that a leader of the Ghost Rider motorcycle gang had admitted to murder and arson when they shared a jail cell. He testified in exchange for leniency in his own minor criminal cases. In 2005, he worked with police in Wisconsin in a murder-for-hire plot. Attorneys for the men accused in the kidnapping plot would not go on camera for this story, but they have questioned the government's use of informants. They say it was Steve and another key informant identified as Big Dan, who worked with the FBI to entrap their clients into doing something they would never have done on their own. Documents show that Big Dan got $54,000 for his help. Informants are critical in investigations like this. As a former FBI agent, giving the FBI access it would not otherwise have. In this case, informants wore secret recording devices, including key fobs.
Actually collecting real-time evidence of the crimes as they're being planned and executed is critical to a successful prosecution.
But former FBI agent Mike German, who would not talk about specifics of this case, says informants come with risks.
Informants will make your career, but they will also break your career. dangerous business. You know, you're dealing with people, most people who know something about the criminal element.
That's
are
correct.
from the criminal element.
German once tracked down homegrown terrorists for the FBI. He left the agency in 2004 after 16 years and became a whistleblower over what he called the agency's mishandling of terrorism investigations. He says the agency has come under fire over its use of informants. The FBI pays its informants about $42 million a year, according to a 2019 audit by the Office of the Inspector General that found flaws in how the agency vetted confidential sources.
They're becoming friendly with an FBI agent for the purposes of betraying their friends for whatever motivation, whether it's money, whether it's getting some benefit as far as their own misconduct is concerned.
The government says the conspiracy to kidnap the governor started on June 6, 2020. Defense attorneys say that's the day Stephen Robeson organized and paid for a National Patriot 3%ers militia meeting in Dublin, Ohio.
Yikes.
The Southern Poverty Law Center describes 3%erism as a movement, not a group, that claims to be ready to carry out armed resistance to perceived tyranny. Among the 3%ers at that Ohio meeting, Barry Croft Jr. of Delaware, who the feds say later became a leader in the Whitmer kidnap plot. That's him in a three-point hat. The feds say they talked about murdering tyrants or taking a sitting governor. Angry about the response to COVID-19. Angry, the feds say, well-armed and willing to train.
After the break, defense attorneys say it was informant Stephen Robeson who suggested kidnapping at that first militia meeting in Ohio. Evidence, they say, that their clients were entrapped. Welcome back to our Target 8 investigation, The Informant. Now we dig into how a longtime criminal from a small town in Wisconsin played a key role in the Governor Whitmer kidnapping investigation. Once again, here's Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker.
It was informant Stephen Robeson, according to defense attorneys, who suggested kidnapping at that first 3%er meeting, quoting him from a secretly recorded conversation. Quote, "You can't just grab brick and mortar. Without an expletive human to go with it, you've done nothing but grab brick and mortar." Adam Fox, who lived in the basement of a vacuum cleaner shop in Grand Rapids, attended that meeting in Ohio. His attorney says he was invited. The feds say Fox quickly became a leader of the kidnapping plot, recruiting members of Michigan's Wolverine Watchman militia group for his cause. But Robeson's work did not stop there. He hosted field training for the suspects in Cambria, Wisconsin, records show, offering to provide meals and weapons. It's where some tried but failed to detonate IEDs fashioned with black powder, balloons, a fuse, and BBs. And it's where Croft talked of using sniper rifles to take out the governor's protective detail and abduct her. A month later, in July 2020, defense attorneys say it was Robeson who hosted and paid for a national group gathering in Ohio, providing moonshine and pizza and offering to pay for hotel rooms.
Moonshine
that
and
the
pizza
feds
for
say
all.
is where the suspects talked of attacking a Michigan State police post and shooting up the governor's cottage. But defense attorneys say it was Robeson who kept inciting trouble, quoting him from secretly recorded audio. Quote, "Everybody thinks we got time to do this and hang out and sing Kumbaya. In 2 months, your states are going to be locked back down again."
Dozens of protesters marched from the city-county building to the state capitol to protest Dane County's mask mandate.
5 days after that meeting in Ohio, Robeson was back in his home state of Wisconsin, marching against mask mandates.
I think personal liberty violations are being forced upon us.
Within 2 months of that, Robeson was in Luther, Michigan, southwest of Cadillac, for more training with all 6 of the federal suspects. That night, the Wisconsin informant was part of the surveillance of the governor's cottage farther north in Elk Rapids. Defense attorneys say Robeson and informant Big Dan planned that trip, along with FBI agents. They say text messages suggest that the FBI actually provided the address for the cottage and that agents had already set up low-light video cameras outside. Also on that trip, an undercover FBI agent known as Red who said that he could provide at a cost of $4,000 the material for a bomb to blow up a bridge to slow the police response.
There has been this tactic that the FBI has used where they embellish the case significantly, that rather than focus on whatever criminal activity is occurring, try to make the case sexier by bringing in weapons that perhaps the defendants would not have been able to obtain absent the government's intervention, often help in creating an elaborate plot that's far beyond the scope of what this group could do.
The former FBI agent says claims of entrapment are not unusual in cases involving informants and undercover agents.
When there is some kind of undercover operation, often in the culture called a sting operation, entrapment is the most common defense because it's pretty much the only defense left.
But entrapment, he says, is difficult to prove.
It is not improper for the government to induce somebody to commit a crime, so long as that person is predisposed to have committed that crime.
The feds wrapped up the investigation early with arrests in October 2020, fearing an informant had been compromised. In January, the feds revealed that the FBI had dismissed Robeson as an informant, calling him a double agent working against the government. They say he tried to obstruct the arrests, warning at least one defendant that he had been stopped by the feds. They accused him of using money for a charity to buy weapons of attack and offering the use of a drone for acts of domestic terrorism. And the feds say he warned one of those involved to delete the video of their surveillance of the governor's cottage. Turns out, the feds say, the man he warned was also an informant. The feds later charged Robeson with being a felon in possession of a weapon for illegally buying and selling a sniper rifle while he was working as an informant. It led to a guilty plea and probation. And now he and his wife are charged with conning a woman in Wisconsin to donate a $3,500 SUV to his nonprofit called Race to Unite Races. Problem was, according to police, the nonprofit never existed. That case is pending. All of this is news to the people of Oxford, Wisconsin, where gossip usually spreads quickly.
He would come in here and sit and have coffee, and then he'd tell us about his go down to Madison to protest what the governor down there, you know, what they were doing.
Jeff Shocker lives next door to Robeson.
One day last summer, the FBI were over there, and they had about a dozen black SUVs, and they had everybody standing in the road, and they were invested. They were tearing that house apart.
But he says he had no idea about his neighbor's work as an informant or as a double agent.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Target 8 tried repeatedly over 3 days last month to catch up with Robeson at his fire-damaged home.
He is still in Madison.
Someone's living there?
He's in Madison?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Do you know, is there a phone number or something I can reach him?
Actually, he didn't pay his phone bill, so his phone's disconnected at the second.
Okay.
But when I talked to him yesterday, he told me to tell you no comment right now because it's still an ongoing case.
After the break, we will sit down with Ken to talk about what could happen if the informant is called to testify.
Yikes. Y'all are all talking moonshine up in here. What do you guys think of that? Double agent? Isn't that a crazy story? That spans across 3 states, Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin. Weird story. Weird. Creep town, dude.
Creep town, dude.
Yeah, me too, Bluegrass. I'm with you on that. Y'all are all getting drunk on moonshine. It's 11 a.m. here. Shit. Okay, here's another story out of Michigan, West Michigan. I'll be right back. Hold on. Someone's here. All right, hopefully you guys didn't do too many shots because it's not for here. It's my neighbors. False alarm, false alarm. Okay, so our next one. Yeah, I know you guys are all having a party, so it's like, all right, take your time. See you in a few. All right, so our next story is out of West Michigan, and there was a girl that was reported missing. Her name is Amber Griffin, and her boyfriend has now said that he will give up her body. But let's listen to what happened with this poor Amber girl.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Sterling.
And I'm Susan Shaw. We start tonight with breaking news. Crews are currently searching an area in Battle Creek where they believe they could find the body of Amber Griffin.
Griffin's boyfriend, who was on trial for her murder, told police today that he'd show them where he had left her body.
News 8's Kyle Mitchell is live there tonight with the latest on the investigation. Kyle?
Sue and Brian, we're here on Waboskin Road. You can see police have this blocked off right now as they continue that investigation, and that search is underway. Police have previously identified this spot as an important location for this investigation. The Calhoun County prosecutor says a conditional plea agreement was reached. This happened in the second day of suspect Derek Horton's trial. Police so far have not found any signs of her body. If the body is found, prosecutors have agreed to allow Horton to take a plea deal on second-degree murder, and another murder charge would be dropped. Horton and Griffin were living together and dating in June of 2020 when she disappeared. Target 8 investigator Ken Coker has previously visited the area where police are searching. Police had found women's pants stained with blood and a receipt for an $8 shovel on a previous search. Now, we'll keep you updated here on Wood TV and tonight on WXSP at 10 and Wood TV 11 at 11, and of course on woodtv.com.
So he bought an $8 shovel to bury his girlfriend. What is going on with people? Maybe some Shine will help my throat. Yeah, it helps teething babies. Just rub it on those old gums. All right, we got one more update, and this is going to be the major update here, and this is in the Oxford school shooting. So I saved this for last because I think it's going to be... Or wait, I'm sorry. Not even close to being done. Not even close. Here is another story related to what we just watched. Not related, but...
Well, he's accused of dumping a woman's body in a Chesterfield Township subdivision. Tonight, another woman is coming forward to say she knew this would happen because the man facing charges nearly killed her. Mara McDonald live at the Highland Park Police Department. Mara, that woman is a former police officer there, right?
That's right, Devin. And Galvan put her in a coma for 3 weeks after she left work, and she pleaded with that parole board not to release him. John Robert Galvan is accused of dumping 42-year-old Teresa Sanchez's body in this subdivision intersection. They lived just a few blocks away. Little did he know neighbors' surveillance cameras would pick up video of a man in a pickup truck dumping her body and then purposely running over it, only to return 40 minutes later with his father in tow. Police say it's his father who called police. You see Galvan run from the scene when the cops arrive. We were allowed to look at the video, but not record it.
I knew it. I knew it. And then I just couldn't believe it. And my heart goes out to that lady and her family.
Back in 2011, Galvan, already a registered sex offender, smashed into Bodie's car. She had just gotten off duty at Highland Park PD when he hit her.
He hit me at 100 miles an hour.
You heard that right. 100 miles an hour down Woodward, drunk. He crushed her pelvis, broke her neck, collapsed a lung. She lost her spleen, triggered a stroke, and was in a coma for 3 weeks.
If you ask me how I feel, I think he didn't. He didn't care.
Bodie told the parole board not to let him out. They listened the first time, but granted him parole on the second.
I said, I have a feeling if you let him out, I don't feel like he cares about anybody else.
Back here alive, by the way, Galvan still owes Officer Bodie some $38,000 in restitution, of which he has paid maybe $1,000 of it. since 2011. We're live in Highland Park tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
I know, man. I'm tired of it too. It's like, what the heck? This happens all the time, and it's like half these stories or more we don't even hear about. We don't even hear about it. Okay, so this is a trigger warning. This is a disturbing story. Not very usual to hear something like this. So, trigger warning, prefacing this story.
Augusta police say the suspect knew both of the victims. One of them is in critical condition tonight. Police say she's lucky to be alive. The lights are still on in the basement where a woman was brutally beaten and a man was killed. Now Antoine Powers McLean.
I had opened up in the wrong window. Hold up. Here we go.
Augusta police say the suspect knew both of the victims. One of them is in critical condition tonight. Police say she's lucky to be alive. The lights are still on in the basement where a woman was brutally beaten and a man was killed. Now Antoine Powers McLean is wanted for murder.
He has a very violent history, and he's somebody that we need to get off the street very quickly.
Detroit police say it all started around 6 p.m. Super Bowl Sunday. McLean lured the man and woman to his home on the 9100 block of Stout by asking them to shovel his snow. Investigators tell Fox 2 he gave the pair crack cocaine before inviting them into his basement, where he beat them both with a rifle. For one of them, it proved to be fatal.
We found the victim suffering from his injuries, deceased in the basement of the home, and he was actually disrobed in a cage in the basement of the home.
Police say the woman who survived the beating told investigators McLean threatened to kill her if she told anyone what happened. DPD says McLean drove her to this apartment building on Greenfield near Chicago the next morning, where she managed to escape. Police got a 911 call from this Coney Island a few blocks south of that building, telling them of all that happened inside this house.
You know, from simplistically a person shoveling snow to not waking up the next day is kind of eye-opening.
This neighbor, who did not want to be identified, provided police with surveillance footage of the victims going to McLean's home. He's called this neighborhood home for more than 30 years, but says he cannot do so much longer.
Time to go. You know, it's time to go.
In the meantime, police are urging the public to speak up if they run into McLean.
If anyone comes in contact with him, it's very important that you notify your local police if it's outside of Detroit, if it's in Detroit, to notify the Detroit Police Department. We ask that no one attempts to detain or apprehend him and let the police handle it. Again, he is to be considered armed and dangerous.
I don't want to approach him.
Now, police recovered the rifle they believe was used to bludgeon the two victims. Right now, they're saying if that rifle was used in any other crimes. Huel, Monica?
So disturbing. Let's hope someone speaks up. Thanks, Randy.
Augusta police.
Crazy stuff. Crazy. In a cage, guys. In a cage. He lured them there, asked them to shovel snow, gave him crack cocaine, and then bludgeoned the one to death, and then the other one was found naked in a cage. Okay, next one is right out of Detroit as well. This is a really sad story. So a mother and her boyfriend and her 5-year-old child were murdered. Execution style. And they did finally arrest 2 people. 2 juveniles did this.
Under arrest. Police take 2 juveniles into custody in connection with the triple murder that took the life of a mother, her boyfriend, and her 5-year-old child. The grandmother emotionally responding after hearing the news.
Are you kidding me? You take my grandchild and you're 16? Where are your parents?
Good to have you with us today for Local 4 News at 5. Police announced those arrests in the case this afternoon.
Thanks to tips, they were able to track them down and get them into custody safely. Meanwhile, this crime has rocked the community and shattered families. Pamela Osborne spoke to the grandmother of the 5-year-old victim in the shooting. And Pamela, you watched that announcement along with her. I know she is devastated.
Yeah, Kimberly, and there's something she said that really stood out to me, and that is in light of what happened to Caleb, he belongs to this entire community, to the police officers investigating it, and you certainly got that sense here at DPD headquarters today. This was a heinous crime, and as we watch some of what police had to say at that press conference today, the moment of breakdown came for that grandmother when she realized just how young those two suspects actually are.
He was just 5. Why would you do that to him? You're not even an adult.
Shalisa Floyd again in a state of utter disbelief.
Unimaginable turmoil right now.
Today she learned the two people police believe to be responsible for the murder of her 5-year-old grandson Caleb Harris, his mother, and a third person are only 16 and 17 years old.
I just can't imagine you pointing a weapon at a 5-year-old and killing my grandchild. He had to be frightened by himself like that.
Still no answer as to why, but the two teens who police have not named were taken into custody yesterday without incident. Police say the public played a huge part in helping them track them both down.
And on behalf of Homicide, thanking you very much for your help and your support.
The pain is unimaginable still, but Floyd is grateful to the public for their tips.
I can't even say how grateful I am.
She's also thanking investigators for their work in helping to get justice for a sweet little boy 5 days away from celebrating his birthday.
It's just inexcusable for anyone to get whatever the issue was, to get that outrage with whomever they were having conflict with, to bring a baby into this and kill him.
Look at that baby.
And there still is a lot of information that police simply aren't able to reveal just yet. But what they do say is that those suspects knew at least one of the victims. They were found in that neighborhood, and with them in custody now, there is no threat to the public. Reporting live in Detroit, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Okay, Pamela, thank you.
This happened on back in like mid-February. So here is I think this is, I don't think there's anything new after that. 9 days ago. Let's see.
Hey guys, police say Detroiters provided a lot of tips and helped lead to the arrest of two suspects. This story really struck a nerve with Detroiters, many of whom are having a hard time wrapping their heads around the possibility that two teenagers killed a 5-year-old boy. As if the murders of a man, woman, and 5-year-old boy were not jarring enough, Detroit police say the two suspects they arrested for the crimes are kids themselves.
There is high confidence that the individuals that we have taken into custody are responsible for this heinous act.
A 16 and 17-year-old are in custody for the murders of Caleb Harris, his mother, Lashon Marshall, and her boyfriend, Aaron Benson.
It's hard to process, man, and it's heartbreaking because nothing like that's supposed to happen.
All of it has Detroiters unnerved.
You have to have no remorse, no heart to shoot a little boy, a 5-year-old, in the head. That's about to make me cry. Like, I got a whole 4-year-old that just turned 4. Like, I can't imagine that. That is like really heartbreaking that these kids can't live their full lives.
The murders of young Caleb, Lashon Marshall, and Aaron Benson echo another jarring trio of murders that span Detroit and Warren. One of the victims was also a child, 6-year-old Tyrese Moore. Nicholas Bari will be tried for their murders in April.
When a 5-year-old is murdered in our community, we all gotta have an understanding and look at it like that's our kid too, because until we start to look at these situations like that, nothing is going to change.
Yep. Violence against children has always struck a nerve with community organizer Zeke Williams and New Era Detroit. He says the possibility that two teens murdered a child in cold blood is a sign the community has dropped the ball, and everyone has a role to play to right the ship.
If you an influencer, if you a entertainer, a comedian, a rapper, you know what I mean, or just somebody cool in the community who kids look up to, you know, we got a responsibility to do more in our communities to affect the mindset and mentality of what's going on in our communities.
Don Moore is doing just that with his nonprofit Betterment Outreach. They use basketball to reach at-risk teen boys and young men to help them get their lives on track.
What we're doing here at BMO is trying to pull them in, trying to show them something different. Trying to show them that, man, you can get the same money by selling drugs by doing something positive.
Actually, we all need to step up. Like when something like this happen, everybody do. We got to start putting heads together, and handling it. Because these young guys is growing up listening to the wrong thing and doing the wrong thing. So you do need some OGs and some real men to step up and talk to these kids.
Again, 2 teenagers have been arrested. Right now, they're being held at the Wayne County Juvenile Detention Center. Investigators are working hard to get a warrant request over to the prosecutor's office for a charging decision. Police say the suspects knew the victim.
Wait, what? Why are they in the juvenile detention center and not jail? They're 16 and 17 and they just committed a triple homicide. One being a 5-year-old boy shot in the head. Yet Ethan Crumbley is sitting in county jail. What's wrong with this picture? Why are they in juvenile hall? They should be in the county jail, in my opinion.
Right now, no official word.
That's kind of disturbing. I mean, maybe the Detroit juvenile system can handle people like them. I know they said Children's Village couldn't handle someone like Ethan Crumbley. So I don't know if they would go to Children's Village as well. I don't know if there's another place in Detroit. I'm not sure. Damari Perry. Okay, I'll look into that, Malin. Let me write that down. Where are these parents? Who knows? Probably single mothers. Might be working. It's sad. If you want to know where these parents are and what's going on in inner cities like this, subscribe to Judge Alex Kim. He does all of the juvenile detention hearings live every day. And it's totally transparent. Fort Worth, Texas. There's kids that are committing carjacking, felonies, teenagers. So this is our future, guys. This is our future. And at least, you know, I saw someone say, I live in Detroit and this shit happens every day. It does. But it doesn't mean that these conversations are had every day. The conversations that these guys are having with one another and trying to work together to make a change, you don't hear that every day in Detroit. You don't hear that every day on the Metro Detroit News. Hey, Trinda. So, our final story of the day is back to the Oxford High School shooting, speaking of Ethan Crumbley. A third federal lawsuit has been filed by victims. Let's take a listen.
All right, the Oxford School District is now fielding a third lawsuit following last year's mass shooting.
4 students died at Oxford High School last November when prosecutors say 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley opened fire. This new lawsuit was filed by a student who was injured, his sibling, and a student who witnessed it.
7 Action News reporter Kim Russo spoke to their attorney about what they want to see happen.
The parents, represented by Giroux trial attorneys here in Southfield, told their attorney that they wanted it communicated as they filed this lawsuit
Alex Kim,
that they have
right up
empathy
here. See his
for
channel?
all staff involved
Subscribe.
in what happened on that
addicting.
tragic day.
And they don't want to exacerbate
kind of the hurt that's going around.
Attorney Robert Giroux says he represents the parents of a student shot, his sibling, and a student who witnessed it. The lawsuit has two goals. One, to support his clients.
It's been an emotional toll.
Two, to protect others in the future.
If all I were to do is meet with students, I would have approximately 2.5 hours per student per year.
We heard testimony during accused shooter Ethan Crumbley's parents' preliminary exam yesterday from school counselor Sean Hopkins, who is named in the new lawsuit. Hopkins talked about his large caseload of about 400 students and how he didn't know Ethan well because he didn't have a history of getting in trouble. Hopkins did not have information, he said, about the 15-year-old's social media posts about guns and death. He and the school's dean sent Ethan back to class the day of the shooting after Ethan's parents allegedly refused to take him to get mental health help.
You did not take a firm position. Ethan needs to go home from school.
Correct.
My clients have talked a lot about changing the policies and procedures to make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else.
They want schools to encourage reports of concern rather than condemn the spreading of social media threat rumors as they allegedly did before the shooting in Oxford. They want teachers, counselors, and administrators to have training on how to identify suicidal or homicidal tendencies and procedures to remove a student exhibiting warning signs.
You take that person out of the school to protect everybody, and they don't come back until there's been a screening.
Attorney Giroux says while the lawsuit does name individual staff members at the school, the goal of the suit isn't to personally take their assets. It is going to target the school district and insurance policies that are in place for such tragedies. In Southfield, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
All right, thank you so much, Kim. Certainly.
So there you have it. There's the third federal suit. The school is going down. Down, down, down. Yeah, so that concludes our Michigan cases for this week. Just to give you guys a couple little upcoming events. Tomorrow I am going to be over on the Scott E. Skulls Drawing channel, and we're going to be doing a crime drawing of Chris Watts, and I'm going to be just talking about the case and all the ins and outs and theories that people had and just general case discussion. And Scott is going to be drawing Christopher Lee Watts because he likes to draw.
Do you like to twirl?
So I'm not going to be drawing. I'm going to be talking. She liked to talk.
Meow, meow.
When is this? This is tomorrow, I think. Or no, what's today, Friday? Saturday night. I believe Saturday night. So that should be fun.
Let me have a little fun, would you please?
I love your voice, Heather.
We planted flowers on the side of the house.
At least you don't sound like that, right? I can't draw, but I make some badass cups. You sure do. You so do. So tomorrow night over on Scott E. Skulls, we're going to be drawing and talking about the Christopher Lee Watts case. State of Colorado versus Christopher Lee Watts. Catch it tomorrow. Be there or be square. Or Brooklyn Farthing. Thank you, Bluegrass Brittany. Maligator, is the Scott Peterson stuff done? No, thanks for bringing that up. Scott Peterson's hearing has now been put off until the end of March. Heather looking ass, can you drop Scott's link? He's a little challenged. Just a little challenged.
This guy is just a nut.
A nut. But it's put off because Scott's lawyers came across something in the A&E documentary entitled, which brings me to my new member special. You're going to want to stick around to hear this. Don't leave.
Daddy's little Betty. Betty's gonna be a man someday.
Compliments of Kingsport, Tennessee. We enjoyed that little tune. So it has to do with the A&E documentary, the murder of Lacey Peterson. So all the members, we are going to start a watch group, and we're going to watch that documentary. So I'm going to get all of that put together, and that clip is especially for Potato. She loves that song. It's her favorite song. So I like to give her that jingle a little bit every day, just so it's in her head. But yeah, we're going to start watching as members together off of YouTube. So become a member today and be included in that watch party that we're going to watch the murder of Lacey Peterson. And that's going to be an Amazon watch party. It'll be fun. Completely legal, no copyright issues. It's going to be off of YouTube, but for members only. So that information will be shared in the community tab for members only. So become a member today and reap that benefit. We're going to watch that and we're going to discuss. And then we're going to continue the hearing back when it's March 24th. And I have a feeling that he's going to get another trial. So hopefully it will move forward and we get to see that with all of the evidence coming out. So I think that'll be a fun thing to do as a group and the members here at JS for Justice. So bear with me as I iron out all the kinks to figure out, exactly how it's going to work and how I can get you guys that information and make it easiest for you guys to join as well. If we do the Amazon, I'm assuming that everybody has an Amazon account. I'm not sure. It might require everyone to have one, so I don't know if that's going to be a problem. So I just got to figure out what's going to be the best way to do it. But I think that it would be really fun to have a chat, watch the documentary, and then also talk about it. So I will keep you guys posted on that for sure. Again, that's going to be for members of YouTube. AKA
Roberta.
All right, so I'm going to get out of here for now. I have an appointment and I've got some yard work to do. It's beautiful outside. It's absolutely beautiful. So I hope you guys all have a beautiful Friday. All of you guys who are ill, I'm sending you healing, good vibes in this Native American song. Hopefully that brings you peace and serenity and healing.
Maybe that's a sign.
I'm out. Peace. Love you guys. See you tomorrow night for sure. Drawling and talking. Christopher Lee Watts case. See you soon. Take care.
I don't give a damn.
Roberta.
I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn.
Creek Town, dude.
Is there anything you want to do about it? You can apologize.
Don't break my door, you fucking bitch.
You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently.
He's evil in the flesh.
Stick it to friends, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all